Once again in America, we are waking up to horrifying news involving mass shootings, this time 2 in 24 hours.
Overnight, at least 9 people killed in Dayton, Ohio, where a gunman opened fire in a part of town filled with bars and restaurants. Just hours before that, at least 20 killed in El Paso, Texas, when a young man allegedly went on a rampage at a Walmart.
The shooter first opened fire outside the store, then he went inside where he stalked people in the aisles. This morning, the suspect is in custody.
According to the El Paso police chief, authorities are examining what the chief has called a manifesto believed to have been written by the shooter. The chief says the document shows a possible, quote, nexus to a hate crime. Law enforcement sources also tell ABC News that the suspect said he wanted to shoot as many Mexicans as possible.
The shock and sadness immediately evident across the state of Texas. The headline in the Dallas Morning News, so many bodies. And overnight, the Texas Rangers baseball team holding a moment of silence for the victims.
We have team coverage of both these mass shootings this morning. We'll go live to El Paso in a moment where we will hear from some of the survivors. But we start here with the latest on the overnight shooting in Dayton. ABC's Maggie Rulli is here with more.
Eva, good morning. The FBI is on the scene right now in Dayton. They're working with local police, and this is all happening as we're starting to hear more from witnesses who were on the scene, and they describe those early morning hours as chaos.
This morning, at least 9 dead, dozens injured after a shooting in Dayton, Ohio.
We got shots fired. We got multiple people down. We're going to need multiple medics.
One man capturing the sound of gunfire as he sat in his car.
We have, looks like 9 or 10 shots.
Police say the shooter, wearing body armor and armed with a long gun and high-capacity magazines, opened fire just after 1 a.m. as people were out at restaurants and bars in a popular area of downtown.
This is a very safe part of downtown.
Officers already patrolling nearby quickly responded, blocking off roads.
We need first medic and net peppers right now. We got several down.
Paramedics rushing to give first aid to some victims out on the street.
Most of us can't get to our cars because there were bodies scattered all over across the street from our cars. So we can't, people that were shot hit innocent people.
Police killing the gunman.
We're working on identifying the suspect, see what the possible motivation might have been.
The community is left in shock as authorities search for answers.
We can't get home to our families now, and now those people aren't going home to their families either.
The convention center in town has been set up as a staging area to help those families meet up with their loved ones. And we keep hearing this morning that the area where this happened, it's known for being safe. It's known as a popular tourist destination. And right now, the community is just in disbelief.
Of course. Unbelievable. Maggie, thank you very much.
You're just joining us. It is Sunday morning, and we are essentially recovering at the moment from 13 hours of violence in this country. Of course, we had El Paso, where 20 people were killed in a mass shooting, and overnight, just a few hours ago, starting at 1 a.m., another shooting. 9 people have died, 16 are injured in Dayton, Ohio. And in fact, there was a man, Isaac Johnson, who was there at 1 a.m. Here's what he saw.
Oh. Dude, what the? What the?
Now, part of what is so jolting about that, I'm sure you recognized, is it starts out with the pop, pop, pop of bullets at a regular pace. I don't know what regular pace is, but at a smaller, shorter pace, and then all of a sudden, a barrage of gunshots. That's because that suspect was shot dead by police officers, and you essentially heard that happen. And I want to be very sensitive to this, because as we heard those gunshots going off, let's be honest, we were hearing people die. We talked to Isaac Johnson about what he saw and what he was doing in that moment. Let's listen.
I'll be honest. I didn't really know at first because I take my girlfriend to work and pick her up on the weekends, usually there. And there's always nice motorcycles and cars, so I take videos. And I was kind of sitting there waiting for one, and I heard a pop, and I kind of thought maybe they were doing fireworks or something. Just like there was just one or two right before I started the video. And then it was like 3 or 4, and I kind of, like, fireworks are timed to be, like, specifically, like, 5 seconds or 3 seconds apart or right back to back, and those were just spaced out uneven. So I was like, excuse my profanity in that, but yeah, I was like, what's going on? And then I saw people start running, and cars just started coming out of the intersection like recklessly. I was just confused, really. I didn't even get out of the car because I was just sitting there like watching everything happen.
I saw the window going up and down. Did you get the sense that were you trying to protect yourself in that moment?
I don't really know. I think I was gonna I was thinking since it's gunshots I should go inside, and then I was at the same time I was looking at my phone and I was like, well, I need to record this, so I don't know. I just was sitting there deciding if I needed to roll my window down to see what was happening or if I needed to get out and go inside.
Isaac, is your girlfriend okay?
Yeah, she is, thankfully.
Was she in front of or in the building near where this happened?
No, she's actually at work at the Dublin pub, and I know there was a couple that came in, and the woman was, she was like extremely in shock. They were in meds, and I guess she said that they heard a couple shots and people rushed the door and they just all dropped, and then another one of her coworkers was at a nearby restaurant or bar or something. She heard a few shots and everyone there was like diving on the ground, hitting the bar, and she was, I honestly experienced nothing. Like I was like the car pretty much. Nobody was paying attention to me. I was just there kinda, and it's just crazy.
So Isaac, we see through your video that you got out of the car. What happened after that?
I actually walked up to the door and I was about to go inside, and then I started looking back because I was just kind of confused. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know because it stopped. So I was like, I didn't know. Like I could tell. It sounded to me like there's a few guns. Like one gun doesn't fire that fast, obviously. I don't know if there was cops already like on the street or what, but.
Did you see? We saw the people running in your video. Did you talk to anybody before you got back in your car?
No, I didn't. I just sat and I kind of just heard the people across the room, and I know I wasn't really trying to eavesdrop, but I could just kind of see by how she was talking. She was like putting her hands over her head and I don't know. I heard her when she came in and she saw someone get shot. I already knew that, so I was just kind of, by how many shots is what it was. That's all I was wondering. I didn't want to ask did you see?
Sure.
I didn't want to ask any questions, you know what I mean? But that's a little excessive if you ask me. That's so crazy. That's just insane.
So I want to bring in CNN White House correspondent Boris Sanchez in Berkeley Heights, New Jersey, near where the president is staying this weekend. Boris, it was 13 hours since El Paso. This has just happened, and then the Dayton shooting happened. This happened several hours ago, about 1 o'clock in the morning. Do we know if the president has been briefed?
Hey there, Christy. No indication yet from the White House that President Trump has been briefed on the shooting in Dayton. If he hasn't been briefed already, it's safe to assume he likely will be soon, and we expect the president to respond to this as he often has had to, with condolences for a community grieving ravaged by gun violence. As far as the shooting in El Paso, the president put out this statement last night on Twitter. He writes, quote, "Today's shooting in El Paso, Texas was not only tragic, it was an act of cowardice. I know that I stand with everyone in this country to condemn today's hateful act. There are no reasons or excuses that will ever justify killing innocent people. Melania and I send our heartfelt thoughts and prayers to the great people of Texas." The president there alluding to the shooter's hateful motive in the shooting in El Paso. Unclear if the president will address white nationalism and white nationalist violence further. Christy.
Laura Sanchez, we appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Let's bring you some breaking news now about another mass shooting in America. Police have confirmed that 9 people have been killed and at least 16 injured in a mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio. The gunman is now also dead. Well, these are the first pictures from the scene. It's thought the shooting took place outside Ned Pepper's bar in the city. Well, we can get more on this shooting and speak to Derek Myers, who's a reporter for Newsnet and has just attended the police press conference in Dayton, a warning that there are flashing lights from emergency vehicles on the scene there. Derek, welcome to you. Tell us what more we know about this mass shooting.
Well, we know that the gunman's laying dead on the sidewalk just about a half a block from here. Around him are several victims. Some of those are those 9 victims. Some are inside the club at Ned Pepper. Some of them are on the sidewalk. And as you mentioned to viewers at home, there are 16 people at area hospitals right now. The death toll is expected to rise, unfortunately. We know that this scene is on a grid lockdown. Police are going centimeter by centimeter, inch by inch, looking for any evidence that might be helping them connect the dots as to what this motivation was. When we asked the police chief what his motivation for that gunman might have been, he said he didn't know at this time, but they were going to piece it together and find out. The FBI is out here, as well as other local and state federal agencies helping the local Dayton Police Department investigate this. This is something that is that has struck this community. This is a low crime area. This is happening all over the country in the United States, but it does not happen here in Dayton, Ohio, the police chief said. So he's quite heartbroken to see this happen in his community. You can see it on the facial expressions of the first responders that are out here. They're vividly shaking themselves. They work these streets. They have been inside this club multiple times, but this is the first time that anything like this has happened in their area.
Derek, tell us more about the area and this bar in particular.
Yeah, we're in the Oregon District, which is at the corner of 5th and Wayne in Dayton. It's popular nightlife, but it's a calm nightlife. This particular bar, Ned Pepper's, describes itself on its website as a Western bar. It has a dance floor, a tiki bar, promoting a Hawaiian atmosphere. It's a very laid-back community. This is not a high-crime area. The mayor here, Mayor Nan Whaley, has come out recently discussing about the low crime rates in the area. She's quite proud of the accomplishments that the police have made, especially here in the Oregon District.
Derek Myers, thank you very much for updating us on that breaking news. 10 people killed, including the shooter in Dayton, Ohio. More coming up. Stay with
Anthony Reynolds was there outside the bar in Dayton as the gunman opened fire. Anthony, good morning. I know this is a very difficult day for you, and I really appreciate you taking some time to help us explain what exactly happened last night. I understand you left that bar a little after 1 o'clock in the morning. What happened from there?
Yeah, at 1:05 a.m. I was leaving out. I know the exact time because I was looking at my phone. I had to be at work at 6 a.m. and me and my cousin, we were leaving out, and we were talking about staying till 1:30, and it was still a long line to get into the club. There was a lot of people downtown. It's usually a live night on Saturdays. And by the time we got to the end of the line, once we got to the end of the line, which is near the corner, you heard one gunshot. You heard boom. So we looking around, we didn't know what it was. It didn't sound like a familiar sound, and the buildings around here made it kind of echo off. And then you hear a second boom, and then after that, it's complete rapid fire just for like 1 minute.
So, Anthony, you were inside the club. Was there any kind of confrontation? Did you see anything happen before all this took place over the course of the night?
Yeah. No, I had been in there since 11. Nothing was happening at all. It was a perfectly fine night. Everybody was having a good time. There was really no issues at all. It wasn't even arguments or anything. It was very unexpected what happened.
So you saw the gunman after the shooting began. Can you describe him for us?
White male, all black, and he had a face covering that covered like right to here. And you can see this part of his face, but all this was covered.
Could you make out what kind of weapon he was carrying, Anthony?
Not exactly. I just knew it was an assault rifle.
Was he a guy you had seen earlier in the night in the club at any point? Could you even tell?
If he blended in, I wouldn't have seen. I'd be able to see him. He didn't stand out. If he did, I don't know.
So you're leaving the club. You walk past the line. You hear the gunshots ring out. Tell me what the scene was like after that.
Once the gunshots start like coming rapidly, you just see the crowd running west. We running down towards to get out of the Oregon. And you can just see as I turn around, my friend was behind me. He wasn't with me. So when I turn around, I'm looking for him. And I see he was stunned. And that's when I could see the people in the line that was in the line at Ned Pepper's. You could see the bodies actually start to fall. So then we knew it was like bigger than just even a shootout. And we just continued to run. And we just yelling at people and just telling them, like, run, it's a mass shooter, run, it's a mass shooter. Because a lot of people were stunned and they didn't know what to do. So you just had to kind of direct them to tell them, like, you got to run, just continue to run. Like,
So where did you go from there, Anthony?
I ran to my car. I was parked in the Wiley's Comedy Club parking lot. So when I ran around that corner, made a right, and I just was running to my car. So I got right in my car, and then I took the back exit out of the Oregon district where you've seen a lot of people trying to run out the back of Ned Pepper's. There was a lot of commotion back there. People were just in the streets and screaming, and that's how I got out without being able to go back down the main road.
So, Anthony, on an otherwise regular night out, you thought, on a Saturday night, you watched people shot in front of you. Do I understand correctly that you know one of the victims?
Yes, I know of her. I know of her child's father, and I seen online that he posted that she was one of the victims that passed, and she just was celebrating the birth of her child. So.
Anthony, I'm so sorry you had to see that. I'm so sorry for your city, and I'm so grateful that you would take the time this morning as you're going through all this to stop and help us understand what happened and to talk about it. We really appreciate it, Anthony.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so the Bellbrook Police Department assisted Dayton PD and Dayton FBI agents with the execution of the search warrant. So Bellbrook units were here to help facilitate the execution of that search warrant.
What connection does this have to the shooting?
This is connected to the events that happened in downtown Dayton early this morning.
Is this the confirmed address of the suspect?
I'm not going to give you the address, but we are close to where that is, yes.
The suspect lives on this street?
Yes.
What exactly are police looking for?
Well, I don't know. That's Dayton PD was here, and they were assuming they were just collecting evidence they thought might be germane to the ongoing investigation of the shooting.
Is it the FBI taking the lead on that search warrant, or do you have any know if it was?
I don't know that.
Okay.
What evidence are you looking for?
I don't know. I'm assuming that they're looking for anything that's connected to what had happened earlier in the day.
They had to call in the bomb squad or anything for any hazardous material, anything explosive, like?
I think they cleared the house and a few of the vehicles that were here. So whether the bomb squad was here in some regard, I know they took due regard in making sure that everything was safe when they went in there.
Who all lived, or how many people lived in the house that you guys are searching?
I'm not entirely sure. At least 3 or 4.
It's a family.
Family.
Any idea what they've removed so far from the house generally?
I don't know, and probably couldn't. It wouldn't be fair for me to speculate on that.
And were there any concerns as far as like explosive devices or anything like that that you're aware of?
No.
Were there a range of weapons that you guys have gotten from the scene, or?
I don't know what was collected or taken from the house, so that would be a question to ask Dayton PD or the FBI.
When did they begin searching?
Well, I got here at 8, and that was already being executed and being done. We had officers here initially at the scene just after 4 o'clock this morning, so I think they were, it was sometime around 6 o'clock when this was, they got entry into the house.
Is this search still ongoing at this point?
Everybody that was involved in the investigative part of the search has left the scene.
Tell us why the road is still going to stay blocked then.
Well, the road's going to be blocked because we are trying to we're just trying to give the family respect.
There's a lot of neighbors out and sort of like, I guess, we're out here looking, they're out here
looking. It's just difficult because it's a tragedy. So
obviously you guys have dealt with search warrants. That's not something new for your department.
No.
But a search warrant related to a search with a mass shooting? That I'm assuming something your department has not been through.
Well, yeah, that would be a little big for Bellbrook PD to handle by itself. But again, this was an executed warrant that was asked for and executed by Dayton Police and Dayton FBI agents. So we were here to facilitate that, being that it was in the city of Bellbrook.
Did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that something like this, and you guys would be executing a search warrant in this matter?
No. You know, it's sad that these seem to be more of the norm than not. So it's things that we train for as far as the active shooters. We train for those kind of things, but it's just difficult.
What would you say to the residents of Bellbrook, the other residents of Bellbrook, not just on the street, but in the entire city?
Yeah, everybody, the Bellbrook is a safe place to be. Nothing's changed. We're here. Here at the scene, everything here is safe and secure. Nobody has anything to worry about. If anybody has any questions or concerns, they're welcome to call us, and we'll handle that as an on-call basis. But everything's good.
Were there any other federal agents involved in this search other than the FBI?
FBI is the only one I know.
Chief, what would you say the neighbors on the street have been dealing with this news? I mean, this has got to be disturbing for them.
I've talked to the neighbors. I gathered them up and talked to them. So, yeah, it's hard.
Besides just talking to them and making sure they're doing okay, I know you mentioned that earlier, are they being interviewed?
They haven't been interviewed, and we're going to secure the street behind us to give them the respect and the peace that they actually requested, and we would provide that for them.
Have you had any past calls or anything with this man that was involved in this?
No,
Chief,
nothing.
Chief, do you know the family?
I don't know them personally, no.
But do you know some of the neighbors here? Is that why this is tough for you personally?
I know a few of the neighbors, yes. So it's tough.
Any idea why the Oregon district?
I don't know. I don't know any connections as to that to here. I don't know specifics. I don't know any of the storylines or the plots, so I can't answer to anything like that.
How much of an area does Bellbrook cover?
Bellbrook's actually, it's 3 square miles. We have about 7,000 residents, and it's a very small town friendly, so everything that impacts us has a potential for it to be have a strong impact on us, on all of us.
So the degrees of separation are probably small.
Very small, yep. Everybody knows everybody else, and so yeah, it's difficult.
Is there anything in your mind you can compare this kind of thing to just what happened in Dayton last night and having it come down in your backyard like this?
Well, two very different scenes. What Dayton PD is dealing with, and this was clearly just an execution of a search warrant. There wasn't, the traumatic impact that they're dealing with there. So it's very different.
Chief, what was your first name? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Doug.
Anything else?
Good. So we're going to have this street closed. If you guys are welcome to shoot here, as long as you're like off the road, and but out of deference to the family and.
What's happened in Texas in just a moment, but we're actually going to start with breaking news of another shooting. This is coming out of the American state of Ohio. Police there are investigating a shooting in the city of Dayton. This does appear to be the second mass shooting in the country in under 24 hours.
These are a couple bodies just right here.
Witnesses have reported a number of casualties. At the moment, though, no official confirmation of any deaths or injuries. Initial reports, though, and I must stress initial reports because news is coming in all the time from Dayton. These reports saying that a shooter has been either killed or arrested. Also reports that police are looking for a second suspect. More on that as it comes in. But here's what a reporter at the scene has been broadcasting on social media.
I was talking to someone, one of the bar owners, who said that they heard the gunshots and shut their doors, immediately locked them, and they said that they were trying to get people out through their back doors. They weren't going to let anybody out until, they knew they were safe. The scene is safe. The entire Oregon district right now is shut down. And that was one of several people we've seen being treated here on the scene already. I'm not going to obviously get up and close to them while that is going on. We got some, I believe these are detectives. Actually, I think one of those was the FBI person, but he might just have a lanyard on that says that.
The shooter is deceased from gunshot wounds from the responding officers. We have 9 victims deceased in addition to that on East 5th Street, and we have approximately 16 more victims hospitalized right now in unknown conditions.
Get out of the way!
Suspect was firing a long gun with multiple rounds at the victims. Fortunately, we had multiple officers in the immediate vicinity when this incident started, so there's a very short timeline of violence. For that, we're very fortunate, and as bad as this is, it could have been much, much worse, as I think everyone will become aware of here in the next, as more information unfolds.